Book your driving lesson now at dla-driving.co.uk. Sponsored by DLA Driving School.
Hello and welcome to ON the Town. Here's what's coming up today. The treble winners are in town, and once again for the second time in a week, the town put in a superb performance but ultimately leave with nothing. Is it now a case of we're happy with oh so close but no cigar, or do we now need to start getting some points? Elijah Adebayo gets his fourth goal of the season, and here's going to be our player focus tonight. And up next, the most informed team in the Premier League, Bournemouth. Is this now a game that's a lot harder than we thought it was going to be? We will also have your 3-word reviews and much, much more. Now, as you can tell, I'm not Dave.
So that's a good starting point.
It's a good starting point. Yeah. I'm bringing the average age right down.
Hey. Hope you're listening, Dave.
But I'm going to do my best for you. And to help me get through, we have the regulars, Steve and Bataro. How are you guys doing?
Hello.
Yeah, we're wonderful, mate.
Good,
and
mate.
We're just three mates chatting. That's all it is. So, no, it'll be good. We're good.
Yeah, don't worry, mate. I'll be nervous. You'll be absolutely fine.
Sounds good. I've had a more meteoric rise than Luton. It should have been one of you guys up here and I go into your place. But let's see how we get on. So, Steve, 2 o'clock on a Sunday, not my favourite kickoff time, if I'm honest.
No, exactly.
A real tough one. The weather was all over the place, but there was still a buzz in the air from the Arsenal game, I think, and no Haaland in the lineup. Did it give you a sense of hope?
No, it gave me a sense of disappointment. I think one of the things that we wanted coming up is to see these fantastic players, and I was genuinely disappointed.
Yeah, I was as well, to be fair.
Because I wanted to see him, and he's a physical, aggressive player. Maybe some of our defenders might have found that a bit easier than some of the outrageous movement and that.
Yeah, Bataro?
Well, like you say, do we have sort of like a sense of fair play? We take him out of the equation kind of thing. I didn't, because for example, they've got someone like Julian Alvarez, World Cup winner. He can step straight in and like you say, and yeah, it's just crazy the amount of talent they've got anyway. So
strength in depth.
Yeah, so they're not thin on the ground, are they, with quality? Yeah.
But I was the same as Steve. I just really wanted Haaland to start and obviously play the game. Unfortunately, he couldn't because, well, I didn't think obviously that way, but I was just more the point of test yourself against one, if not the best striker in world football at the moment. So yeah.
Well, let's get into our 3-word reviews. Kev, beaten but proud. Clive, another close one. Justin says, golf didn't show. Richard, big club bias. Ben, results will come. George, story of the season. Fran, changing the narrative. I know Rob Edwards was saying about that, wasn't he? Gavin, new Townsend contract. Mike, Barkley is magic. And Tommy, deserved a draw. Bataro, any of those take your pick?
Let me check what Steve's gone for first.
I'm not telling you.
Okay, fair enough then. Then we'll go for the same one again, mate. All right, I'll upset you. But for me, it probably results will come. Excuse me, because I'm still not having the fact of we're going to go on this run without winning for however long that people. I've heard a few people saying recently, but no, they will come, and I'm very confident, especially after the last maybe two performances, should I say? So yeah, that's for me.
I think the points have to come if we maintain that level of play, and the intensity that we've played with.
Yes, that's it.
It would have to come. We've had 2 fantastic games against the 2 of the top teams.
Yeah.
We've only been 1 goal adrift, but
scoring 4 as well.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want us to be a team that goes down with a load of accolades and people saying what a great show. I want us to stay up, and if that means Luton are crap but we stay up, then I'll have people saying Luton are crap.
Well, my one there is Kev, beaten but proud. It's kind of what you're saying there, Steve, isn't it? Are we now at that stage where yes, again, I guess it's with changing the narrative, people are understanding what we're about, but points are going to keep us up. It depends where we want to be next season, isn't it?
Of course,
It's do we want to change that narrative and make people think differently about Luton Town? And okay, if we're in the Championship and then to come come back up, we could attract other players and things. Or do we want to be in the Premiership next year? Do we want this?
Oh, of course.
If we do, then beaten but proud, is that enough? Now we're nearly halfway through the season.
I think the change of the narrative thing, I think that comes in hand with good performances, and we've just got to then turn those into points. I'm sure it's going to come. We did have Marvellous back, but he's now going to have another break. That was a bloody stupid booking, but we'll come on to that. But we're doing everything right. We just need to sort of find that extra little bit. It's just those key moments that are maybe letting us down.
Maybe a lapse in concentration as well.
Yeah,
I think that's been our biggest downfall is the lapse. For me, like I say again, against City, I'm sorry. Well, maybe obviously, was it the first goal? Was it or the second goal? A massive lapse in concentration from the back.
I think it was that the second one, the one that Grealish got.
Yes, it was that one. Yes, that was the second one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll get into it anyway. So.
We will. Just wanted. I've seen a bit of a mixture of it. Richard, big club bias across social media. It seems very much 50-50. Some thought the ref was very, very biased. Others thought he was completely fair. Is there anything in that, the big club bias, Steve?
I think it has been for absolutely years. I think after the Villa game, I remember Villa fans, some of them commenting on our pod and said, first season up, you're almost an outsider. You're not welcome in the group and stuff like that, and it does feel, I mean, is it Silva? Bernardo Silva. He was berating the ref for about 5 or 6 seconds because he gave a foul throw for someone. And the aggression that he was doing it with, it should be just book him.
Didn't Pep get a yellow card? Did Pep get carded as well?
He might have done, but then you got Nakamba who didn't kick the ball away. He sort of just held it for like 3/4 of a second and bang, have that. There's a yellow card for you. So I would suggest that anyone who isn't one of the big 6 clubs, which 6 you ever want, you choose. Everyone else will say there is a big club bias, but it's been for years. It's not a new thing.
And like you say, obviously, Steve, about fans commenting saying, "Oh, you're not part of the group," etc. What you said a second ago, I feel that as well because what I hear on a regular basis in pubs and whatever else from these plastic Premier League fans. I'm a Man United fan, but I was born in Luton, one of those ones.
Yeah.
And all I keep hearing is, you don't need to get out of our league. Just get out of this league because you're not putting up a fight, you're embarrassing yourself. And that's all I hear quite a lot. Obviously, not so much recently, but at the beginning of the season, it was very much like that. They're very cliquey. Like, certain fans. Well, I'm not saying it's everyone, but it just seems to be the idiots that don't go and watch their team.
Yeah, but if someone has got that mindset, if that's what they genuinely think, then they clearly don't know football.
Well, this is it.
Whoever the team is, they've got no idea about what football is and how you go about things. I think the people that are within the game and people that have got half a brain about them, they're seeing
I understand,
what we're up to, and we're starting to get plaudits, but well, I want points, I don't want plaudits.
Well, Man City are one of the big 6, and let's get onto the game in a little bit more detail.
Yeah.
So 3 changes from the Arsenal game on Tuesday. Lockyer, Nakamba and Giles for Osho, Pelly and Kabore. We were saying about Man City missing a few players, weren't we? So when we saw our lineup without Osho, Pelly, and obviously we knew Kabore was going to sit out anyway, but I think for me, especially without Osho in that lineup, I was a little bit concerned. Taro, what did you think?
Well, this is it. I mean, the amount of injuries we've had, I think straight away I noticed that Mads Andersen was back on the bench. And I was very much like, okay, so obviously, if Osho was fit, I don't think Anderson probably would have been back on the bench so soon. But I think it's a little bit concerning, the fact of recently, touch wood, nothing's happened to the players that have come back from injury, but they've been chucked straight in the deep end kind of thing. For example, Bell, when he come back, he was straight in, I think, the starting 11. Osho was the same as well. And I don't know about you boys, but I get slightly concerned, when a player's been out for X amount of months and then comes straight back into a team. It's a bit worrying.
Yeah, but behind the scenes, they've probably been training for 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, of course, I get that.
You know, and the intensity of that training would be sort of building as they get nearer to it. And, you know, again, the science guys, they wouldn't allow
phenomenal.
it unless they were at a level where they could compete. So I don't think that's the case. I mean, because Osho had been out since the playoff final. He comes back, Villa, really difficult game. He was rusty. He was off the pace. The next game, it was bloody immense.
But this is what I'm saying. We said about Osho coming back and he was rusty, for example. This is what I'm saying. If a player comes back after, say, 3 or 4 months out and you chuck him in against, for example, say, Arsenal or City, for example, you know what I mean, for an example, you see what I'm saying? It's kind of tough to get up to the speed if you've not had match fitness or match sharpness, should I say.
And Steve, do you think we've had our... Well, let me ask you this. Who do you think is our best back three? If they were all fit, who's the best back three there?
I would love it if we could give Burke a body transfer because I think Burke is fantastic, but he's just so injury prone.
Yeah, he's built like Weet-Bix, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I mean, Bell's struggling, but he's playing sort of a bit more centrally. I like Osho. I like Mengi. Haven't seen enough of Mads Anderson yet, but I think there was promise there. But I think I can definitely give you two. I think pace-wise, Lockyer at times is finding it difficult. Again, but he's getting better. I think his reading of the really fast game is getting better. But I think the two that have to be in there for me is Osho and Mengi.
Yeah, I'd agree. And as you can see, Steve, there I've got written down Lockyer or Burke as well.
Yeah.
But is this the thing though, Bataro, that we're sat here and we're trying to pick out our best back three, if you like, and they so far this season those three probably haven't played yet.
Yeah, this is it.
Our back three, back five hasn't been settled, and then you're going into the Arsenal Man City game. So actually, the guys that have come in, have they done a great job?
A brilliant job. To be fair, I can't pick out any single player probably in the past maybe 4 or 5 games. Even let's focus on actually the last 2 games. Every man and every man in that team or who was playing and who came on had done their job.
Yeah.
Not a single player had failed to play up to a level. Do you know what I mean? You don't expect.
They all played it at a maximum level, didn't they? They done great.
And sometimes I think they've exceeded expectations for me, especially like say with like Osho and Bell. They're all very athletic players as well. These guys, Mengi as well. I mean, he's brilliant. We say it every single week. This guy is fantastic. How good is Mengi, by the way? I want to know, Darren. How good is he?
I think
he's gonna be.
I think if I remember rightly, when he came in, it was one for the future.
Yes,
I think they were, not necessarily going to go out on loan. He was going to be off the bench, and for me now he's a starter.
Yeah, I think for me he's one of the first names on that team sheet now.
Yeah.
Mengi, 100%.
On Mengi, have a watch over the next few weeks. I feel maybe literally the last 5 or 10 when he's really tired and spent. I think then is obviously when he struggles, whereas maybe some others can find a way. Just watch it over the next few games, and we'll have a chat about it again in a few podcast time. But it's just something that I'm thinking. When he gets really, really tired, his levels go down, which I understand. But whereas the others seem to find a way.
Well, behind the back five, if you like, we've got our fabulous goalkeeper and Kaminsky, and again. Especially first half, what a half he had, Steve. I've got down here on Jacob's notes, 80 seconds. Man City had their first shot with Bernardo Silva, and on 19 minutes, the one that he tipped over from Rodri. But how did you see Kaminsky's first half?
Just really solid again. I mean, that one really, really early. Bernardo Silva sliced it wide, didn't he?
Yes. That was it.
It was like me on the driving range, the way he sliced that. It was a thing of beauty. But I think his best save in that half was the one from Foden. And you could see it hurt his wrist.
Yes, yeah.
He hurt it. That really hurt him because he was sort of like that a little bit.
He did lever it, didn't he? Absolutely smashed it, didn't he?
Again, and we were talking before we sort of come on air, Foden finds just such wonderful positions in between the lines in his control and placement of the ball was instant. And yeah, I mean, that was a really difficult angle that he got that shot away at. But he was down really quick. and held it. Yeah, just brilliant. He's had a great couple of months.
Yeah.
He's fantastic, isn't he? Yeah.
And Batara, the changing of the narrative, and that we spoke at length with the Brentford game and how disappointed we are, and we've come back with the Arsenal performance. Were you pleased that we picked up where we left off from Arsenal? That first half, maybe not quite the level of the Arsenal game, but certainly we weren't sitting back. Were you pleased with that?
Of course. I mean, of course I was pleased. I mean, to be fair, that's the fact that we've come out after losing 2-1, obviously another loss, no points, and we're still smiling and we're so proud. Because all I kept saying yesterday was, I'm so proud of this team. I wasn't getting like emotional, but I could feel like it was almost like the hairs on my arms were standing up.
Yeah, you couldn't ask any more of them. Again, the individual rise in quality and the awareness. It's really, really good. Another great game from Barkley.
And our fitness levels as well, they are fantastic. Yeah.
And we touched on it in the previous pod. Elijah's mobility has been a breath of fresh air because, as I say, Morris has looked laboured, he's looked slow, he worked him like an absolute dog, but he was aggressive, he was getting to him, he was a pain in the arse for him, and whether we talk about it now or when we do the player focus, that goal, I loved it.
Brilliant.
We spoke about
goal.
it so many times on the podcast about be aggressive. You are such a strong lad. Get up there and do it. And it really was. The two defenders nowhere near him.
Hung in the air as well, didn't he? He was just hanging there.
Well, let's come on to that goal and even further back. Ross Barkley, Batara, that bit of skill, sort of a little pirouette midway inside our half.
Honestly, he's looking like Ronaldinho, isn't he, at the moment?
He's really believing it, and he's really believing it.
You can tell that this guy, there was a reason that I think Chelsea paid 30 million or whatever it was back in the day. There's a reason for that.
Who was it that compared him to Maradona? Someone.
Oh God!
Well, he was going to be the new Gazza, wasn't he? That was widely used, that phrase.
But it was his pass out. I think it went out to Doughty. Who then and you know, one of the things that in recent times sort of always bothered me about our players is when you're passing that ball along, you want to roll it into the player's stride. We tend to not do that.
The weight of pass has to respond, doesn't it? Yeah.
So the weight of pass from Barkley to Doughty, then Doughty onto Townsend, and Townsend can take it in his
stride. It just allows it to flow, doesn't it?
It was absolutely superb. And then when you've got the quality of Townsend.
That cross, that was something else, wasn't it?
When you think it was inside the 6-yard box, so nearly everyone's got to say, Edison, you've got to claim that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if it was like the whip or the angle on it. To me, it wasn't something that he could go for. There was already two defenders there.
It was a dip on it, Steve.
Yeah.
It was whipped and it dipped as well down.
But Elijah was just miles above him. He physically outdone him. Like his Forest goal, he just bossed the guy and got him out the way. And this is what I'm loving about Elijah, because we've said for ages he can do it, but he wasn't doing it regularly enough. But he's now.
I think we're finally seeing a little
it.
bit of what when we first signed him in the Championship. And I think he came in and he scored maybe something like 5 or 6 goals in 10 games or whatever it was. And he was like, he had that little bit of trickery. He's always a tricky customer anyway when he gets running. But he's starting to turn players inside out as well and put the ball through their legs. And you saw it again. Was it yesterday? It was, wasn't it? Against City or Arsenal. He was doing it to the players. He was putting the ball through their legs again and turning them one way, going. These players are like top international players. Do you know what I mean? Worth £70 million a pop, and he's doing that. I'm thinking
a comedy view of that is if Elijah doesn't know where the ball's going to go, then there's no way the defender can know either. So.
It's probably just like he's going to knock it over there.
Did either of you see Townsend's celebration when the goal went in?
Yeah, he was loving it, wasn't he?
If anyone's got what we're about, he's come on board. He's fully got it. It wasn't I'm here to. Resurrect my career or anything. Yeah. It means something to him, doesn't it?
He's got a great attitude as well. Like the way the guy talks in his interview, he was saying how thankful he was for Luton for giving him another opportunity for all that sort of stuff. But and it's just lovely to see, because you see a lot of people or players, should I say, that players that play for top teams like your Tottenhams and Newcastle, which he has. A lot of them have an ego, and he hasn't got an ego at all, one bit. And like who is it in the freeware review? New Townsend contract from Gavin, 100%.
100% sure.
Goes to the end of the season at least. Yeah.
Well, I can say I think his contract runs to January, doesn't it? So as we sit here now, Darren, you're a definite yes for him, are you?
Oh, 100%, yes.
Yeah, he works hard as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, and not just on the pitch. You can imagine what he's bringing to the changing room as well.
Well, going to say you might have heard, as you're a fan of the podcast, but no, we discussed it a good few weeks ago when he first joined. The first team had a couple of days off. He went in to work on his fitness, but also to help out with academy and sort of the younger players on the coaching side. Model pro.
Yeah.
So it was 1-0 to us at half time, and I don't think many, even us, saw that coming.
No.
But we knew what was coming the second half.
Yeah, there was almost oh God, wasn't there?
To be fair, I mean, I still feel like City really didn't create anything. I think like we helped them out a little bit for one of the goals, I'll be honest. Mm-hmm. Bernardo Silva's goal, there's nothing you can do about it. I'm sorry. What a strike. What a strike, by the way. And this guy as well, I know it sounds a bit like a Man City podcast, doesn't it now? But can I only say Bernardo Silva, wow.
Yeah.
One of the best footballers I've ever seen live. And I've seen some very good footballers.
And
wow.
Anything in the sort of foul on Lockyer in the lead up to that?
The foul?
Well,
hang on a minute, have I missed this?
Well,
at the time, it looked as if there was a foul. I mean, when you're watching a game live and it's a very fast game, there was an awful lot of decisions that, again, we were just, where is this coming from? But at the time, it did look, because Lockyer went down. But I don't recall that. Yeah, I don't think it was.
No, I don't. But again, on the socials, again with this referee, the 50-50, the bias, it just seems some people felt that it was a foul. I think Lockyer got to the ball first, and it was a coming together. But
I can't say anything because I haven't seen it. So that's poor of me, isn't it? I haven't even seen that.
Yeah, I mean
that's terrible.
But the second goal, I was basically saying, if this goal stands, because we were convinced it was handball.
Oh no, yeah.
We were absolutely convinced.
Oh, you was under the illusion. I'll be honest. I straight away I saw it hit him.
Yeah,
I thought it hit his chest.
Apparently, it hit his shoulder, but
shoulder, face.
Yes.
It was around that area.
Yeah.
We all sit the same end, don't we, gents?
Yeah.
And it's sort of a little bit difficult from that way, but
I had someone call me an idiot. I was like, mate, I don't think it's handball. I said, I think it's either hit him like in his chest or like his face or something. They've gone, you got no fucking eyes or something, mate. And I'm like, hey, and straight away I've gone down, pulled out a picture. I've gone, yeah.
Is this? But how disappointing it is. We've taken the treble winners and we're 1-0 up, and they've come back. And then 2 minutes later, there's a little thing here, isn't there? Not necessarily on the opposition scoring, but when we've scored, we've conceded a couple of times this season early. Yeah. Is there something wrong with our concentration that we can't reset? Very disappointing 2 minutes later to go behind.
I don't know. I'm not too sure. I don't know if it's a problem. I just think maybe, I think it's just the level we're at, I think. And I think sometimes we, as soon as we get a goal, we get a bit confident, and I think morale goes up a little bit. You get a bit of a boost. And I think sometimes we get a bit carried away with certain things.
Well, again, it's something that we've spoken about on numerous occasions, and we do seem to switch off for a few seconds here and there, whether it be just after a goal or not, and you can't. You just can't. And it's not just Man City or Arsenal, because Brentford can do it to you, Newcastle can do it to you, even Chelsea could do it to you. Hopefully not. So I think it is literally just a split second of, right, I'm going to take a breather, and you can't. It's done. You're in trouble. That
was a big thing on Tuesday night, against Arsenal.
Yeah, the throw in.
Yeah, and they thought, I'll take another 2-3 seconds. They even picked it up, I think, on I was watching it on Amazon highlights or whatever.
Right.
And they were saying you cannot switch off. You cannot turn your back for a split second, and we did, and it was just like bang, they're through. They've knocked the ball over. There you go, and it's frustrating. But
Steve, a little while ago we were praising the defence and how well they're doing, but it wasn't a comedy of errors. But do you feel we could have done better with that goal? I mean, Bell, second game in a row, it was a half-hearted pass back. Maybe because he overhit the one for Arsenal. But Bell could have done better. Mengi.
Yeah, this is it. There was 2 or 3 occasions where the players will look at it and Robbie Edwards and think, that could have been better. That could have been better. That could have been more decisive. Yeah. But even the shot, it just seemed to go straight through Kaminsky.
He didn't hit it well, did he, Grealish?
No, he didn't. Maybe he was expecting a bullet in the top corner. Yeah. So when he scuffed it, again, going back to me playing golf on the driving range, it just trickled straight past him. I remember Jurgen Sommer let in a goal I think it was one of the FA Cup games, maybe West Ham, where he sort of went down onto his knees and it just went at the side. It was almost a little bit like that one. And you just thought, well, he's gone straight through him, yeah. And
I don't know who Jurgen Sommer is. I'm not who.
He's so young, isn't he?
Well, you're just so old. So
I'm somewhere in between, I think. I do know Jurgen Sommer.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Moving on, anyway. Moving on.
I'll be researching that in a second now. Watch.
But I think, to lose to Man City in that style, if one of their star players cracks one in the top corner, you kind of go, but to lose to City in that fashion.
Yeah.
This is it. Yeah, that's the most frustrating part about it, isn't it? The manner and how you concede the goal. Like you say, if it's like a one-touch pass between, and there's like 15 passes involved and it was all just quick and they split you apart, because they do it, like you say, they do it to the best teams in Europe anyway.
Yep.
They do that, that's fine, but
Steve, we went 2-1 down, but I was really pleased with our reaction. Actually, from that point, could it be 3, 4, 5s from there? But it wasn't. I thought we got on the front foot. We kept going. What we were doing. Yeah. And we certainly weren't out of it.
Yeah. No. And I was pleased with the changes that Robbie Edwards made. You might have thought, okay, well, Elijah has worked so hard, he's going to bring Morris on, so it's going to be like for like, but no, he kept them both out there. I think it was right to change Nakamba when he did. Again, he's been out for a little while.
Yeah, that's it.
Doughty, again, he works so hard, but he just flags, doesn't he, the last 10 minutes? You can see it in him, sort of shuffling over to take a corner.
He does not look like a footballer, does he?
No.
Did you not see him at full time? He was like almost like bent over, like sort of like breathing heavy.
Couldn't say he really puts it in, but no, I was really pleased with our reaction on and off the pitch with the changes we made. We continued to be aggressive. Even right at the death, we had that corner. Kaminsky came up. Just so close, and I was pretty dejected, to be honest with you, after the game yesterday. Maybe a little bit punch drunk from the Arsenal and previous ones. And you think we don't deserve to have lost that, in my opinion. We've done so well, we've given so much, and we've got nothing to show for it. And I want to win. I want a win.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I say, it's you deserve something out of like the City game, the Arsenal game, because like I said, I see people after the game waiting for a quick pint on the way home, obviously.
Shock.
Yeah, I was going to say shock horror, but stop it.
As we sat here with our
by the way, we've
sat here with our coffee and our tea.
But what I was going to say was, as soon as I walked in the pub, everyone turned around and went, "Oh, you're right, mate. Fair play at Luton today. Played really well."
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you don't really want to hear. It's nice to hear that, but it's a bit like
it is nice.
It's a bit of a kick in the backside as well, isn't it?
It is, but it goes back to the no points.
Yeah.
No points.
We're not getting what we deserve. And I think there's a decent run of home games that, again, in this crazy world that we're now involved in, that you think they're achievable. We can target a lot of these games. So if we can double down, and if we can perform with that level of intensity and desire against so-called lesser teams, we really can be fine. But
we know it doesn't always work.
I know it doesn't.
Crazy thing
I know it doesn't work out that way. But we've now got a striker who's got 2 goals in 2 games and been a monumental pain in the arse to the defenders. Second half, Ross Barkley done a beautiful move where he cut inside 2 players. And he just sliced his shot. Yeah. And I thought, this is it. This is the moment. Because I know he scored against Arsenal, but if that one had gone in, he would have thought himself, I've got my shooting boots on. And then he'd have probably thought, I am fully back now. Yeah. I think if he can get a worldie or an absolute lovely goal, he'll be bossing games even more than he is at the moment.
Probably getting forward a bit more as well. Yeah.
For me, just one other talking point in that second half, Bataro, was Jacob Brown lucky?
Very.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what? I cannot understand for the life of me how the hell he has not been sent off. Do you know what it is, right? The fact that they've gone to VAR.
Big club bias, mate.
Well, you keep mentioning it, don't you? So yeah, it must be that.
But no,
how the hell? Both his feet were off the ground, weren't they?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I thought he was rash against Arsenal. I don't think he connected with the guy, but yeah, I think his pumped up, maybe needs a little bit of reining in a little bit, just on those couple of isolated moments. But
Yes.
again, such endeavour and work rate from him, and I think he's just got a couple of incidents wrong.
I think he's maybe a bit too committed sometimes, because the thing is with Jacob Brown, we know how hard he works, and he's always had that reputation at Stoke and I think Forest Green before that, how good he was, his work rate and blah blah blah. And he obviously some people said a few times he does like to, when he goes for it, he never ever shies away. And it's like, you can see that as well.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know what you thought, Darren. He was lucky when he should have gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was very lucky. But maybe
They even done a talking point on Sky Sports earlier. I was watching it, and the ref watching it, even though like half like idiots anyway. But no, they were saying 100%. I can't understand how VAR have checked it. I think it was like a 2-minute check as well, and it was like, how?
Yeah, we got away.
We'll
with
take
that.
it though.
I wanted to move on to the stats here, and producer Jacob's done me no favours whatsoever on my first show here.
No, he's obviously a Sky Blue fan, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, you've got the Sky Blue jumper on, Steve, and Jacob's.
It was navy. It's just old.
But we've got nine facts down here, and 4 of them about Man City. So we're going to skip through those. Just a couple about Luton. With 9 points from 16 Premier League games this season, 1-2, drew 3, lost 11. This is Luton's lowest ever tally at this stage of a campaign in their Football League history. Does that count?
No,
because you can't compare.
No, because of, again, the upward trajectory that the club has had over the last 11 or 12 years. The financial gulf now that exists more than any time ever before in football history. We're not David against Goliath. Goliath.
Sorry, what you got in that cup?
Brandy.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not tea, is it?
No, the gulf between who we're playing against is so much more. So, you can't compare.
For example, compare the Premier League now, this season, or the last couple of seasons, compare it to like maybe 15, 20 years ago. It's a completely different animal. Yeah. Completely.
Okay, so the other one, Bataro, Luton haven't kept a clean sheet in 19 matches. We are toppling over all these stats, in the Premier League, but the one thing we do need is a clean sheet. Yeah. Is that concerning?
It's vital. You keep a clean sheet. You've got 1 point guaranteed, didn't you?
To be fair, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, concerning depends on how you're losing games or what you're doing in the games. Or you losing, you're getting smashed every week. The fact that we're conceding probably on average 1.5, 2 goals a game or whatever, I don't think it's the end of the world. But I also think, in order to sometimes go forward and get a few more goals, which we've been doing recently, I think we're going to be a bit more exposed at the back. So I think that's part of it. So yeah.
Okay. So let's get on to our player focus then. We spoke about him a little bit earlier on, Elijah Adebayo. We've got down here, does he have a better impact in the starting 11 or from the bench? So we have a few in here from Ads. So he struggled at the start of the season when playing in a different formation. Needed some time out of the starting 11 and looks like he's benefited from it. Partnership with Jacob Brown seems to work more, and that's probably from Brown doing the legwork, which Morris wouldn't do. Andy says, for me, he starts. Elijah has shown that he's fitter than last year, and Sunday was probably one of his best games in the Luton shirt. The amount of pressing he was doing showed that fitness. Morris looks laboured at present, and Elijah has taken his chance. Johnny, start him at home for sure. The legwork and the press with the right players around him is such a threat. A definite start with the home noise when we really want to take it to the opposition. Morris fits more a structured approach like tough away fixtures, in my opinion. JMO, I remember when we went from League 2 to League 1, Hilton had been bagging, and everyone expected Hilts to smash it, and Colo stepped up. Well, this is almost a tongue twister. I think this might be Elijah's breakout season. Well, that's interesting. Yeah. Kev really good recently and should start. Seems more of a nuisance and fresher than Morris, and a different challenge to what opposition defenders get from other teams. Viking, Adebayo has to start on current form. Morris has looked ineffective while Adebayo seems a constant threat. Once he tries to run into tires.
Yeah.
That helps if I can read. Once he tires, it's been a long day.
On as well.
Once he tires or run into a bad vein of form, Morris gets gets a go again. And finally, Chris, Rob Edwards has managed him well. Early in the season, he wasn't quite at the level, so was right to come off the bench and build some confidence. But since the goal at Forest, he's been excellent, and to see him scoring big headers is exactly what we need him to do. Starts for sure, and to be honest, at some point with Morris too, as we're going to have to be brave to get wins. That's true. So pleased for Eli though. Great lad. So Steve, anyone from you there? I mean, they're all kind of similar, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I think everything Andy said is absolutely bang on. Elijah fitter than last year. I mean, particularly this season when we lost to Huddersfield in the playoffs. I think nearly every game Elijah would crawl off with his ankles hurting and that. So yeah, he is so much fitter. I think he's a big confidence player, and I might even include confidence in his physical ability. There is no doubt, as Kev says, more of a nuisance and fresher than Morris. You know, Morris was doing all the work that he could, but because Elijah's got more of a burst of speed, he's getting to the defenders. He's making the defenders do a wayward pass more often than Morris could. I think everything that Andy said is in spot on. Just while you was reading those out, Darren, just a little observation, and I could be completely wrong. After that miss against Tottenham, you know, Elijah always comes across very philosophical when he's talking about things, good and bad. But I'm just wondering if he maybe gave himself a bit of a rocket after that one. Because I think, was it the next game or a couple of games later, was the Forest one? Yeah. Where he got that lovely goal. I'm just wondering if he gave himself a bit of a rocket, or if someone said, look, maybe you're a bit of a crossroads here. What do you want to do? But he seems to have just come in with such vigour.
I do agree with the fact that I think he is a confidence player though. I think it's massive for him. As soon as he doesn't get his own way or he misses a sit, I think his head does go down. But obviously that I think he'll learn from obviously that experience and whatever else. Time will tell. But like you say, I don't know if he had a rocket. If he gave himself, hopefully you'd like to think he would have. Yeah. Because surely from your own sort of like personal point of view, if we were footballers, I'm sure you would want to progress every single week. That's natural. But you have to tell yourself sometimes.
Yeah, it just seems from that moment he's gone upwards.
Where do you think his value's at? What's he worth now? He's got 4 goals in the Premier League.
I think for good money you've got to do it over a sustained period of time.
I'll put it this way: we signed him for 350, didn't we? He's got to be worth easy 10 times that now. Yeah,
you would think so, but you know, the last season in the Championship, for large parts of it, he didn't contribute. I think Morris was bossing the show then. I don't know. Maybe the dynamics of it suits his play a little bit more, even though it's a higher level. You know, it might work out that way. But I don't think it's fair to put a value on him, to be honest with you. You can say 2.5-3 million. Because I don't know if it's true, because someone said on Twitter he's had 4 shots this season and he's got 4 goals. So we'll see. I saw it. Don't know if it's true. I'm not saying it is, but
this is what we said earlier. Surely it can't be true. That one against Tottenham was a shot. We had this discussion before the thing, didn't we? You claimed he was trying to.
He didn't get the shot off. He controlled it out of play.
See, I'm not having that. That's a shot. I'm saying no, it's not having that at all. That is a shot.
He scores when he wants.
Exactly.
Just one thing that I wanted to touch on. You were saying about him believing and everything. I don't know whether if you two heard Townsend's interview on the radio this morning.
No.
And he was saying about the club and the team having belief, and he was sort of saying at the start of the season, I don't think they actually believed they believed they could defend, but they didn't believe they could go and attack teams. Yeah. And as we've gone on and we've scored and got a few results here and there, they've started to get the belief. So it might be all the way through the squad, but maybe you're right with Elijah. You know, he gets a goal. I'm a Premier League goal scorer. I can do this. You know, it's not long ago he was Walsall League 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
It's a huge rise. So you know, we've had a lot of different goal scorers this season, haven't we? You know, so each one,
which is also a good thing as well, I believe.
Yeah. So although Adebayo's on 4, it's a good spread across the team, isn't it? So each time a player's getting an assist or getting a goal, they're getting that belief, and we're going to need it for the second half of the season.
Yeah,
aren't we?
absolutely.
Huge, it's huge.
So some club news, some bits and bobs. We've had the FA Cup draw. and we've got Bolton Wanderers.
I think
Good tie.
that could be a great tie.
Good tie, yeah. They're on form as well, aren't they? So it gives us a bit of a test. I know people are saying, they're a League One team, but it doesn't matter.
Don't matter. They're a big traditional big club.
Yeah.
And it's the FA Cup as well. We all know what happens. So, yeah.
Am I right? Is Mendes Gomez there?
Yes, he is, but he can't get a game, I'm seeing.
Oh, really?
Because they're playing tonight. I haven't seen the team tonight, but I've been looking through a few, obviously, previous Bolton games, and he can't get a game. I think the last 10 minutes he gets a few run-outs every now and then, and that's it.
So, I said at the start with the Man City game, so that FA Cup game has been moved to the Sunday at 2 p.m.
Yeah, international. I'm telling you, innit? Yeah, overseas. Yeah,
again.
Yeah, Kaminsky wins Castrol's save of the month for the double save against Palace. Again, very much deserved, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, really good.
So next up is Bournemouth, sold out, fantastic support as ever. I said in my intro, if we went back 5-6 weeks, we would have looked at this as going, got to go there and get 3 points. Am I right in saying they're the most informed team in the Premier League at the moment? 4 wins and a draw at the last 5, and the draw was against Aston Villa.
Of course, yeah. It was the 1-1 draw, was it?
Yeah, I think so. Steve, is it? How do you think we're going to approach this game? We've had 2 games at home now since the Brentford game, and for me, even back to the Man United away game, where I just don't feel we had a go. Do we now go away to Bournemouth and play as I know we're going to be away, but play as we did against Arsenal and Man City and have a go? Or do you think we'll see Morris back up at top and us playing the low block because we're away from home?
No, for me, the best form of defence is to attack or have the ball as far away from our penalty area as you can. I am looking, if everyone's fit and energy levels are good, I'm looking for Elijah to start again, because the press from the front at the moment is so much more efficient. That enables Barkley and Townsend and Doughty to be further up the pitch where they can affect things more. I'm looking for more of the same, maybe that first elusive clean sheet. But, I really want us to get something from that. Obviously, I think we can get at least a point. I know they're doing great, but I think, of course, I think we're going to start to see a resilience now.
Bataro, so the next 4 games: Bournemouth away, Newcastle home, Sheffield United away, Chelsea home to finish off this calendar year. From those 4 games, how many points?
Oh, here we go. So 1 point against Bournemouth. Newcastle home would be a point, I think. I think we'll beat Sheffield United. There we go, 5. And a draw against Chelsea, so 6.
6, is that enough?
I would be happy with 6, to be fair, I think.
I don't think we're going to get any points out of Bolton.
Do you know what?
What?
You're so predictable. I was thinking to myself, do you know what? I better crack something about the Bolton one. I knew you.
But because you can't deliver a line, that's why you didn't bother doing it. 7 points. 1 at Bournemouth, 3 against Newcastle, 3 against Chelsea.
I think I'm with you, Steve. I think I'm with you. It's a good time to be playing Newcastle and Chelsea. Let's hope they're still in the.
Based on current situations. It's relatively speaking, Batari, but it isn't a bad time to be playing these teams.
No, of course, but I'll be honest, I'm kind of looking, I think there's no right or wrong time to play anyone. I think it's just, I'm very much like that. On the day, it is what it is.
If we give the best account of ourselves that we can, I think, anywhere between 5 and 7 points.
So, yes, so pretty similar.
Sounds good.
You go for?
I'm 7 points, I think.
Yeah,
and I'll take that. And do you know, if we're within 7 points of the teams above us going into the new year, into the second half of the season, we've got half a chance, I think.
Yeah, of course. But like you say, we do need to turn performances into results now. That's the major thing now for us. Christmas period is massive.
Getting our just desserts.
Yes.
I agree. So, guys, thank you ever so much for having me
Darren,
along.
Thank you.
Awesome, mate.
Thank you.
Superb.
Thank you. You're far too kind. And thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, get us on the socials, leave comments below, and we'll see you next week.
I'd like to say one more thing as well. Dave, if you're watching away from Oz, you're fired.